Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Where in the World, where we have real conversations with young professionals about life and career, all while attempting to guess where in the world they are. From week to week, we'll learn something new about our guests and about what it's like to forge your own career path as a young professional. And when we say young, y'all, we're really talking about a state of mind you will learn by watching this web series. And yes, we are bringing you a web series, as I promised, that your career will take many dips and turns over time. And just when you think you've made it, you might have to scrap it all and start from scratch. Sometimes that's just the way it goes, and we ride the tide. I am your host, Clary Johnson. So happy to be joining you today here by Rishelle Zertuche, who is a people operations analyst for onboarding at LinkedIn, the world's largest professional network with more than 850 million members worldwide. That's right. If you're watching on LinkedIn, you are one of those 850 million members. That's wild. Now, this is the first time that we are doing this show. So I want to make sure that we give Rishelle some props because she is very, very confident to come on and play around with us. So we may make some mistakes. Bear with us. We intend to make this a really, really fun show with you and also very informative. So let's go ahead and give Rishelle her props. This is going to be a lot of fun. Let's jump into some house cleaning before we get started. So, this is a mini web series game show. The questions will range from standard interview like questions to more personal questions about our guests' careers. You'll notice we're both here today. We've got different backgrounds. And in between questions, we're each going to have an opportunity to guess where in the world the other person is. So I have no idea where Rishelle is right now, and she doesn't know where I am. The first person to guess correctly wins, and our guests can ask for clues along the way. So we can ask for yes or no clues. We can ask for different types of guesses or clues, anything that we want to give to our guests to help them to be able to solve where we are. Also, the audience can ask for clues. So if you're out there and you want to help me out or you want to help Rishelle out, feel free to hop in, ask some questions, and we'll be on our way. So I'd like to get started by welcoming Rishelle. So, welcome, Rishelle. Now, Rishelle, you have experience as a mentor for the Society of Human Resources at San Jose State University, where you earn your Bachelor's of Arts in Communications and Media Study. You've also earned several stints in other human resources capacities, including, but not limited to, generalist, payroll coordinator, talent acquisition, and recruitment. Thank you for joining us here today. Let's just get started with like this big picture, biggest interview question, the one that's the most common that we get all the time. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Awesome. Yeah. Hi. Just want to start off first, like, hi, Clary. And thank you for letting me be your first guest on your show. I'm super excited. Um, but yeah, I am Rishelle. I've been working in human resources for since 2018, actually, which is kind of crazy because I graduated college technically in 2021 from San Jose State. So it's been a long ride. But I'm at LinkedIn currently. I actually am moving to a new company January 3rd. So next year, start of the new year, I will be at Lyra Health as a people operations coordinator, same role basically, but a company that is really aligned with my overall like vision and goals and like purpose, something that I'm passionate about. So I'm really excited. Um, but yeah, I work in onboarding. That's like my main area as of right now, but I have a lot of other HR experience. Um, but yeah, I love to be able to help out other HR students who are curious about um, my experience and anything that I can help them with as well. So yeah, I'm super excited to be here today and also do this game show or game show.
This is amazing. I know prior to us coming on, we had a short time where we were chatting a little bit, and you said you had some big news, but my mind is blown. I'm so proud of you. You and I have talked for the past couple of months, and I knew you were in the space where you were interviewing and you were trying to figure out what your next step would be. And you mentioned that Lyra Health was at the top of your list. So I am so proud of you. I'm so excited for your future and for your next steps. And they're really lucky to have you because you are an awesome catch. You're so intelligent, you're so organized. I know I recommended, I was like, you need to go into project management because your organizational skills is superb. It's very top notch. And so this is really going to open doors for you. Question. Okay. And this is a little bit outside of the questions that I have. This is more of a follow up question to what you just said. My question is, when you think of Lyra Health, well, one, what role are you stepping into with Lyra? And then what are some of your goals when you look 5 years down the line? What are some goals that you might
Yeah, so at LinkedIn, I'm doing onboarding. So luckily, with those skills that I've gained here, it's really transferable with my new role at Lyra. So I will be mainly helping with onboarding, but also what's exciting is I will also get to help with talent development and get into that space. And I'll be working very closely with the providers that help um, provide services to um, our other employees for other companies. I don't know if you know what Lyra is, but it's
have?
like business to business, and they work with other companies to provide mental health services to employees. So yeah, I will be working with those providers. But it's just a whole new space, but at the same time, very similar. But I will have a much smaller team too. So it'll be very unique, very different. And I will be the second people operations coordinator on the team. So it's a very small team. So it's really exciting. And I'm just really excited about getting also into learning more about just more about talent development and because that would be my other area that I really am curious and excited to learn about. And then what was your other question again? Sorry.
So let's pause on my other question because it's going to actually come a little bit later.
Okay.
Um, but thanks for sharing that. And I know from personally, mental health is it's a very important topic to me. It's something that I have experienced in the past few years, and I kind of found my way out of that space where I suffered from anxiety as well as depression. And so I know that there's a stigma about talking about mental health and about actually reaching out and getting the help you need. But I'd say that during my time of struggling, reaching out and finding that support was the greatest, best thing that I could have done. And it really helped me out of a tough situation. So if you're out there and you're struggling, definitely don't be afraid to step out. And maybe your first therapist doesn't work out. I had to try a couple, but you'll find that one that you really connect with. And it's really about your personal journey. So I really encourage you to give yourself permission to find that person that you connect with, that you can share your story with, and who can really serve as a mirror for you. So I love that you're a part of this, and it sounds like it's something that is pushing you professionally in a direction that you want to go, but also something that's really meaningful. And I
Yeah.
think when we find those opportunities that connect with what we call an ikigai, like where we connect what we're good at and what we like and what we can get paid for with what's helping the world,
Yeah.
that's our power spot. So super proud of you.
Thank
And
you.
so since we already asked a question, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to guess where you are. Is that okay? And then you can try to guess where I'm at.
Okay.
I'm going to think of the first thing that comes to my mind. And you look like you're in somewhere in San Francisco. Are you in San Francisco?
Without the background, you could probably see the Salesforce Tower, but No, I am not in San Francisco in my in my background. I am though, but not for the purpose of the game.
Okay, okay. So you are not in San Francisco in your background. Um, I will I want to ask one more follow-up question to that, but I'm going to save it. And then I'll give you an opportunity to ask me where I'm at.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I'm thinking South America. Is
Have you been
that
here?
I have never been to South America. Am I hot or cold?
You are very hot. You're warm. You're
Okay.
warm. You're warm.
Mm, this
You're regionally, you're
is that the
there.
only guess I get right now?
Only guess you get right now.
Okay, so I'm kind of close.
Yeah, you're close. All right, cool. So my next question for you. Describe your career path for us. So right now you're transitioning from LinkedIn to Lyra Health. Tell us about your career path. Where did it start at the beginning?
Yeah, I would say HR. I didn't go into college thinking like this is gonna be what I'm passionate about. I don't know if anyone really goes into HR thinking that it's what their passion is. Unless I'm sure there are people in the world like that. But it wasn't for me. But I just knew that it was something that I feel I would have been really good at. I'm great with people. It's a people centered role, or at least when you are going into HR, that's what you are to believe. And it definitely is from what my experience is so far. It's definitely people oriented. You definitely need really good people skills for this HR. But yeah, I guess like my whole entire career path, I just knew that this is the route that I wanted to stick with. And I just took any HR experience that I could find. Like I worked at a theme park at one point in my life. Um, just really anything. Like I didn't care how much the pay was. I just did it. I just took the role. And I feel like doing all of that really has gotten me to where I'm at. I don't think I wasn't picky. Like I just went for it. And I think it did pay off. I think um, it's just a matter of a lot of just ambition too, just knowing that this is what I really want and just going for it no matter what it takes. Um, but yeah, I feel like my career path has been pretty solid in terms of HR. Like I've tried a lot of different areas and I've gotten a lot of experience actually, which is kind of crazy to think about because like when you're in it, you don't really think about how much you've really grown in HR. And when I was in my interviews, they were like, "You have a really strong background in a lot of different areas." And in my mind, I'm like, "Really? I didn't realize I
Mm,
did." And I, it's interesting through this interview process, seeing how much I really do have an experience. And I feel like I haven't realized it until now. Um, so I'm very happy. I'm very fortunate too. But yeah, that's like my HR career path. I've worked in a lot of different areas of HR. I'm very happy with where I've landed in people operations. It's a very unique area in HR that I really enjoy, and I'm really excited to continue going into that path. Um, yeah, and if I did not answer part of your question, feel free to.
no, that was
Yeah,
wonderful. I mean, you had my wheels spinning the entire time because I'm actually mentoring a student right now who's in HR, and she has an interview tomorrow. And one of the things that we were talking about is she's like, I don't know if HR is what I want to do. I don't know if I'm passionate about this. And so it's interesting to hear you say about the perception of when you entering HR, where does that passion really come from? And
yeah,
what I really think about is much like communications, HR is very similar where there are lots of different routes and paths that you can go into, right? You can go into payroll, you can go into organizational development, you can go into recruiting, you can go into university recruiting. There are lots of different paths. And so while HR as an umbrella might not feel like, oh, that's my passion, you might find,
yeah,
I'm really into analytics. I'm very intelligent about analytics. I love doing
Yeah.
analytics. Payroll is the direction or way that I want to go. I love working with people. I love organizing events and opportunities to help people develop. So I'm going to go into organizational development. I
Yeah.
love learning about people. I love learning about how they behave and really dissecting that. So we, if we really break it down, we can find the elements within our careers that we really connect to, and then use those as our light, our guiding light, right?
Yeah.
So that was one thing that really stuck out to me. And then the other thing that you were talking about, that you were saying that when you're in interviews, you didn't realize it almost took the interviewer viewer, the person who was interviewing you, to reflect back to you your value and say, wow, you have all of this incredible amazing experience that's really applicable to this role, even though you may not have saw that or recognized that or made that
Yeah.
connection. And I find that to be true a lot, especially for folks who are just graduating from college. They're taking their first steps into career. They don't know what a career looks like. They don't know what it's like to work at a
Yeah.
job, at a corporate or a professional job, you know? So there is no blueprint to say, well, this is what this experience is going to be like. And
Mhm.
we put all this pressure on ourselves, right? Because we have this idea of what that experience is going to be like. So we put all this pressure on ourselves to live up to an experience here that might actually be here, right? Or maybe
Mhm.
it's just here, right? And we just need a little bit of training or a little bit of time or a little bit of experience or a few courses to get here. But we see the gap as being way, way, way bigger. And so that's a part of that confidence conversation that we have a lot. So I think what I hear you saying is, now that you've kind of been in it, you've been in this role for several years, and you've had several jobs. I've seen your resume. It's impressive, to say the least.
Thank you.
You are now starting to find your rhythm and your groove, and you're starting to see, like, wow, okay, I got
Yeah.
this. Like, this isn't.
Yeah.
I'm not as far off as I thought I was before.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, like, I would have a lot of recruiters reach out to me and tell me what you mentioned, like, you have a lot of experience and a lot of skills, and I just didn't have that confidence, and I would actually even tell them, like, I don't think I have meet the requirements for this, and I was thinking to
Oh,
my head, like, "I don't know why you're reaching out to me because I don't think I'm gonna, make it past, like, this round of interviews or with the hiring manager, I don't think." But they were really confident, like, "Oh, why don't let's just do the interview." So it's just interesting, and I think a lot of young professionals need to have more confidence in themselves, and if the recruiter sees something in you, it obviously says a lot about you too. So I realized that through this interviewing process, you have a lot more skills than you think you really do have, and actually, a lot of those skills are pretty transferable. And I
mm,
never used to think that all my last HR roles were really transferable skills, but they really are. 'Cause it was
that's
it was
so
a real
powerful.
job,
That's
you
so
know.
powerful. Okay, I'm gonna take my next guess. I've been waiting patiently. I'm gonna broaden my guess. Are you in the United States?
No, I am not in the United States.
Wait, I didn't actually guess. I didn't guess. I asked for a clue. Okay, so here's my guess. You're not in the United States. I should have guessed first and then asked for the clue, but
Right.
I'm gonna cheat.
Yep,
I'm
this
gonna
is
cheat.
it. This is it.
You are in. This looks like a MacBook background. I feel like I feel
It's
very
not Yosemite. Just kidding.
disappointed in myself because I should know this in my head. Um, uh, can I Google mountain ranges?
I got this off Unsplash, so I'm kinda just hoping that the photographer
Okay, I'm gonna guess The Himalayas.
No, it is not. I should have chose something a little bit better. I'm sorry.
No, this is perfectly fine because that means we still have questions.
Okay.
So you're not in the United States, but it's not the Himalayas. All right, your turn.
Okay, so I know you're in South America at least.
You're close to South America.
Okay, it's close to South America. Um, but it's not in South America. Or maybe it is. Um, is it somewhere? Maybe
Over the rainbow.
that's not a hint. Not a hint.
It is not actually.
Okay. I'm thinking somewhere in like Mexico.
Ooh, closer.
Okay.
Closer.
I need to
Closer.
look up I need to look on Google Maps here.
But no, not Mexico.
Okay, it looks beautiful. It looks very like Amazon tropical. So,
It is
yeah.
tropical.
Yeah. Well, all right.
Would you like to
Okay.
request a clue?
Maybe a clue, yeah. Any type of clue.
So it is. It's not in Mexico. It's not South America. It's somewhere in between. Okay, so hold your guess for the next one.
Okay. I need to look up Google.
All right. Next question. Next question. Um, and I guess this question I'm going to ask you anyway because you kind of answered this, but I want to see how you're going to answer it when I position
Sure.
it in a different way. What makes you passionate about human resources and specifically about the role that you're stepping into with Lyra?
Yeah. This sounds very much like an interview question. I know you said it. This is going to be a mix of both. Um,
Yes.
and I got this question very often in my interviews. And this is a true statement, but I would say the most cliche thing, but also it's true, is like it's for the people. I would say my job is pretty mundane when you think about it, when you do a lot of repetition. Um, but what I do is pretty special, I would say. Like in terms of onboarding, um, when you think about the people you're onboarding, like the experience that they're going through, like even me looking at me being onboarded onto this new company, I'm excited. I'm so like overjoyed with the fact that I'm joining this really cool company and this opportunity, and like I'm here going, making my next steps. This is my new chapter in life, next chapter in life. And I think when you think about it from the other person's perspective, it really just changes things. And you know that you're making a difference for someone else in their life, even if it's just in terms of onboarding, but you're also bringing them into this new company that they're going to start a whole new part of their life in, maybe even years. So it's a big deal. I think when you look at it that way, at least for my role specifically, it makes a big difference. And I feel like in any HR role, you can find a similar perspective, and it really changes the way that you view your job and the work that you do, because it is really impactful. Every role at a company serves a purpose. So when you really think about that purpose, I think it really can help motivate you and inspire you to stay in that role, or continue further in the role. But yeah, I really enjoy what I do overall, and I'm the fact that I get to work with the providers who are helping people who are wanting to improve their mental health and behavioral health. I think it's really important and it's really special. But yeah, I guess that's why I love HR, and that's why I love my role. And yeah.
Okay. Okay, I felt that here, right? And I felt it when you were talking about your personal experience onboarding, right? Because I mean, when we think about it in interviews, this is an interview question. We do want to pull on our own experience because it makes it so much more relevant to the person who's sitting on the other end. It's a real person. That's why I remind people all the time, you're not talking to a robot. You're talking to someone who has emotions, feelings, thoughts, desires, right? And so we want to pull at the heartstrings. We want to make that emotional connection. We want to be relatable. And I think it's easy to tell stories from your own perspective and from your own experience. And so that's where we really should start when we're writing our stories for our interviews, from our own, from where we've been, right? And so it's easy to say, and I even have the story with onboarding of what that experience was like, whether it was a positive experience or whether I felt like my team could have done more. But being able to be a part of that and then to have the ideas of how this could be better and to bring that to the table can be very valuable for an employer. And so I love that you mentioned that. I think it's so relatable, and it was a really great answer to that question.
Thank you.
I
I
see why you got
I
the job.
feel like it was the winning question for my interview.
All right, cool. All right, so let's see if you can win on your next guess. So I'm gonna guess first. So we
Okay.
said it wasn't the Himalayas. You're not in California. Do you know where you are?
Yes,
Okay.
have never been. I've never been personally, but
Okay.
one day.
All right. So I'm gonna guess French Alps.
Okay, okay. That is basically it.
For real?
It is the Alps, yeah.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Wait, why did you choose the French Alps?
Um, I have always wanted to I love everything that's like the aurora I think it's aurora borealis, like everything that involves like looking at the stars, and I love the mountains. I love everything about this, and if I had to choose where I wanna go, I never travel because like, it's just not something I've been able to do, so I would say something that I would wanna do is, like, go see a view like this in person, so, like, the Swiss Alps just looks gorgeous. I've This one was specifically supposed to be Italy, the Italy Alps, or I know that Switzerland and, like, Italy kinda share the same mountain range, but that's what this was apparently supposed to be. So I'm sure it's like Alps, French Alps,
Okay.
similar. But yeah, I don't know. It's just something that I've always wanted to see, and I've seen the pictures of it without snow.
Hmm.
It's just gorgeous. But yeah, anything that is looking like this, I would want to go.
Yeah, like, I want to be there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's it's so beautiful, and just
yeah,
to see the
mhm,
juxtaposition between the sky and the
yeah.
mountains, and in the picture, it looks like you can see a lot of stars. Now, whether or
I would
not
love to
that's
see that. Yeah,
real in person is questionable.
I
But
don't
I imagine in a
know.
place like France, I've never been to France, so I can't really speak on what the light pollution is like there.
Yeah, I don't know, but I just, I would love to go to Italy in general and just like Switzerland, just all those like really historical places, but especially going to see their nature, which
Hmm.
would look like this maybe. Who knows? It could be edited, but yeah,
All right. So wait, so are the French Alps in France or in Italy?
I don't know actually. I've never been.
Oh, that's
So
hilarious. Okay,
I would
so
imagine that they're all very similar, but
okay,
I
they
don't know.
are in France. They are
Yeah.
in France. Okay. Okay, cool. The French Alps are the portions of the Alps mountain range that stand within France, located in the, and I'm not going to try to pronounce that, Auvergne Rhone Alps and Provence regions.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. So,
So, okay. Can I pull up Google Maps?
yes, of course.
Okay, so it's not. in South America. It is not in Mexico. It's somewhere in between. So that means it probably isn't Peru because, but it's somewhere in between. Um, I don't know. There's a lot of places that could look like that over there. um, I'm just gonna take a guess because I really don't know. Um, somewhere in between could be anywhere. Maybe, maybe.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. I want
Okay.
a guess. Is it part of an island?
It is not part of an island,
Okay. Um.
but I believe we might call this an isle, perhaps.
Oh, I'm just gonna say something, and I know it's gonna be
Say it.
wrong.
Say it.
Um. I'm just gonna say like Guatemala. I don't know.
Guatemala, you are warm. You're very you're warmer than you were before. You were warm
Okay.
before.
I don't think I'm gonna win this one.
I'm gonna give you another hint.
Okay.
So the place that I'm at, the country that I'm in is does not have a military. It has a national guard.
Okay. Okay. Is it Cuba? No. Hmm.
It is not Cuba.
All right.
Cuba is an island,
That is
but
an
this
island.
is
That is
not
an
this is
island.
not an island.
All right. I.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. It's in Central America.
Okay.
It's in Central America. Okay, cool. So next question. You ready?
Yes. I am very bad at geography. So.
Let's talk about, and I don't know if we're gonna get through all these questions. Well, we're 32 minutes in. We got a little bit of time. What are the greatest challenges that you're facing right now as a young professional?
That's a great question. I think there's a lot of a lot of fear still. Like it's more personal, I would say. I think I'm capable of like taking on any task in terms of like HR at least, but I think a lot of it is just like that confidence and especially just also being an advocate for myself,
Mm,
having that confidence there too. So it's just a mix of just confidence and um, also I know like even in terms of like my experience, a challenge might be making sure that I don't silo myself into a specific area. And I don't know, maybe I'm too early on to see that as a challenge. But like, for example, how I was in onboarding at LinkedIn and now I'm going into onboarding at my new role. I'm just kind of hoping that like I can eventually like venture out of that. Um, just things like that. Cause I know that I don't have a lot of experience. Like I do, but I don't in terms of um, like in-depth experience in a lot of different areas. And I know that right now my main very, very well well good experience is in onboarding currently.
mhm.
So yeah, I would say that's a challenge. Um and just confidence overall, just believing in myself and um, knowing that I should be speaking up in times when I need to speak up and not being afraid to do so because I still fear that as well.
So, okay. So I hear that there are some areas where you want to develop a bit more.
Mhm.
Would you say that you found your career path, or you're still?
I think I've found the
Hmm.
area
Hmm.
that I want to be in. I do want to be in operations. I think that's um in terms of my skill set, I think I'm really good with like processes and I think operations definitely is more back end. And
Hmm.
I enjoy that. So it's good for me. But I feel like there's a lot of areas in operations. um, in general. Um, so right now I'm kind of within the onboarding space and I do enjoy it. I did mention like why I'm passionate and I do enjoy it, but I feel like there's so much more to find out. And I do think over time I will learn more. I think it's just that point where you're feeling impatient a little bit. You're like, I want to learn more now.
Yeah.
But it takes patience and I do feel like in time I definitely will get all the experience that I'm looking for. It's just um yeah. I'm still very young. I'm a young professional, so
We're still figuring it out. I mean, even now, I'm still figuring it out, right?
yeah.
I don't think you ever stop. I think I found my spot though. I found the place where I'm passionate at, where I'm good
Mhm.
at. I found my ikigai, and now I'm just growing in that space. But as
Yeah.
I'm growing, there's still so much that I don't know, and so I'm just like a sponge right now, and I'm trying to soak everything up as
Yeah.
quickly as I can. But the reality is that we have to give ourselves compassion and give ourselves time to grow and to bloom and to blossom. And so I think the most important thing is that we keep letting that light shine and we keep um, believing and having that drive and that passion and interest and curiosity and allowing that to develop us. So,
Yeah.
all right, cool. So I'm going to give you another hint before you guess. How about that?
Yes.
Okay.
I do need that.
So, the space that I'm in causes or in the past, it has caused a lot of destruction. It's beautiful, but it's caused a lot of destruction.
It sounds like a volcano.
Oh, hey, it does sound like a volcano.
Where are there volcanoes?
Oh, in Central America. Probably a lot. I imagine there are probably a lot of volcanoes in Central America. But there's one country that I think really stands out for its volcanoes.
Hmm. Right. Google Maps has to help me out here.
Come on, Google. Come
Um,
on. Come on.
it is not helping me out here. I typed in volcano Central America and it went straight to Volcan Messiah o Santiago.
Where is that?
Ah, Managua.
Oh no, this is
I was
not.
like, that's not it. Like, I don't think that's it. Um,
Wait, but you also have the guess that this country does not have a military. It only has a national guard.
okay.
We have to at least get you to the country, okay?
I'm so bad at this stuff.
I can hear you typing furiously.
I need to know. Costa Rica?
Yes! Yes! Costa Rica.
This is embarrassing.
No, it's
I'm
not.
so bad at this stuff, but it's okay.
I mean,
I
granted, I
am
also
learning.
cheated. I'm really surprised that I guessed the French Alps. I was not expecting for that to be the case, but I guess I'm just a little
Well,
lucky, a
I
little
got
luckier with my
to
Google searches.
Park National Volcan Poa. I'm bad at this word.
Okay. So let's pause because now you're in the country.
Okay.
There are more than 200 volcanoes in Costa Rica.
Okay.
Volcanic formations.
Hmm.
So you don't have 200 guesses.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to move on to the
Yes.
next question. You ready?
Hmm.
What makes you a great catch for an employer? AKA, what would you say are your greatest strengths?
Hmm. I think in terms greatest strength, if I want to answer that in a like professional aspect, I think I'm great at communication. So at least in my role, it's really important that you have strong communication, as in like if something changes, you have to make sure all the teams are aware of these changes because this affects the new hires. So making sure that all changes are being made aware for the necessary teams. So communication is a strong point for me. Um, but I think another thing that I makes me a great catch, at least in the interview process, I think what you kind of mentioned earlier is like pulling on those heartstrings. Because I think I know my story really well for the most part, and it took me a while. But
Mhm.
I think, at least in the interview process, I think it's important to humanize the interview process and understanding your story and like really um, making sure that you show that in your interviews. But in terms of like professional, I think communication and um, but I don't think there's anything of my skill set that's no one can learn. Like I do believe everything that I know is very much like learnable. Um, but yeah, communication. I'm a great executing on tasks and getting things done. So employers like that. So
This makes a lot of sense, right? Your bachelor's degree is in media and communications, right? Studies. So it makes a lot of sense that that would be one of your strengths. I'm assuming that you probably chose that degree whether you realize it or not
I
because
love
you're
that major.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're interested in it, right? And so it was just about, well, how do I take this thing that I'm really passionate about and apply it to a real career? And
Hmm.
you could have gone in so many different directions. You could have become an English teacher, you could have gone into education, you could have gone into communications, right? It's
Yeah.
similar to what I did. My background is in broadcast journalism, but I ultimately the role that I took was in internal communications, corporate communications, executive communications. And so, even though on paper they're very different types of roles, a lot of the skills that I learned in my broadcast journalism degree were totally relevant in this new space, in the
Hmm.
corporate space. So, and even what I do now with my company, right? So, I think it's really allowing, again, going back to what do you enjoy, not being, not being shy about what you're passionate about. If you like it, then you like it, right? And then allowing that to
Hmm.
guide you because eventually you'll get there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you get another guess. We're in Costa Rica
Okay.
now.
I googled the top 5 must visit Costa Rica volcanoes.
Okay. That's great because you have less than 5 guesses.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna go based off these pictures that they show me. Um, they all look like volcanoes. Um, a renal volcano.
No, it's no.
Is that a type of volcano?
How do you spell it?
Arena with an L at the end. Arenal.
Arenal, Arenal, Arenal,
Arenal.
Arenal. It is not Arenal.
Okay.
Let me
Well,
see if it's in that top 5 volcanoes list. Top 5 volcanoes in Costa Rica. Volcan Arenal. Okay, it is in the top 5. It is in the top
man.
5. Yes, so you are in the right space, in the right vicinity. I'll just give a fun fact here. I've actually been here before. I've actually been to this volcano. I have a this is not my picture, but I have a picture
Yeah.
that's
Very
pretty much
similar.
this picture.
Mhm.
Um and I was shocked. You see how blue that is?
Mhm.
You know pictures don't like your eyes are will I feel the closest thing to your eyesight is probably 4K right now, but there's nothing that gets close to the beauty of this. So you see how beautiful and blue that is. Imagine seeing that in person. It was spectacular. I was so shocked. I was in college, and um, it, fun story. I thought that I was going to go to college and ace and learn Spanish because I had taken 4 years in high school. And so I decided to study Spanish in college. And I was like, well, let me go and get fluent. And
Mhm.
that's not what happened. I ended up getting a D in that class. And I was talking to one of my professors. I was very sad about it. And she said, "Well, why don't you just go? Go to
Mhm.
it was," and she was like, "You'll learn more by actually going than you will by learning in a classroom." And so that's what I did. And even today, I blow people away by how well I can speak Spanish. Now, I'm far from fluent, but I can have really technical conversations in Spanish. And it's because of this experience that I had in Costa Rica where I lived with the host family. So, fun story. If you feel like you failed, there's always another way, and it might be a better way, and it actually might be a more enjoyable way. So,
Mhm. That's a really cool story.
right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's get to we're on our final questions.
Mhm.
Um, you're in HR. As someone who's in HR, what advice would you give to someone who's just getting started and looking for their first career opportunity?
I I would say networking and getting working on strengthening your connections. And I know everyone says that, but I do truly believe that's very important. Um, and I mean, for my job that I just recently got, I did not have a referral actually. I didn't have any connections, but I did have a connection to LinkedIn, and that's what got me my experience for my new role. So I do think connections and networking is very, very important. And that's why I stay connected to SHRM as well. Because I know even as a professional, I recently connected with Kyle Linneo. I don't know if you know him, but he has been he was a SHRM member. I don't know if he was ever on the board as a VP at one point, but he has been going to SHRM as a mentor professional for a few semesters now, and I recently finally connected with him, and it was really fun. So um, I think staying part of the organizations like that, if that's your field, like HR, staying part of those and staying connected and finding other ways to connect with other professionals in your field is really important. If not immediately, like just maintaining those connections is important. I actually recently I was rejected by a company back in August, and I stayed in touch with the recruiter, and we are getting together in January when he's in town
Oh,
because he lives in New York. So yeah, maintaining connections. A rejection does not mean it's over. So if you had a good relationship with the recruiter, that's also a future connection, maybe a possible job opportunity in the future. So yeah, I think that's my main advice for young professionals is really work and focus on that.
Ben, I love that advice. And I actually learned something new because when I get rejected, I keep it moving. I don't stay in contact, girl. I
If
take
you
the
really want
pain.
that company.
It's true though, but what you're saying is absolutely true. And I think it's fabulous, excellent advice because again, the person on the other end is a real person with thoughts, feelings, desires, and even if you're not a great fit for the role, and it's not always necessarily the recruiter who says
Yeah,
no, right? And
yeah,
so if you can maintain that relationship beyond and you find some base level connectivity in terms
yeah,
of interests or kind of where you are in your life, then yeah, why not? Right?
yeah. And
Yeah.
I think for me too, like maybe one day I'll be a like resource for them too. It's just it can go both ways, but um yeah, I think it's important, especially if it's a company you're passionate about and you hope maybe one day you can work for them. And maybe it wasn't the time then, but maybe it'll be the time later on. So it's a good idea. You don't have to do it with everyone, I suppose, but for some, if you feel like there's that opportunity to do so.
Yeah. Um, no, I think that's fabulous advice, and I'm going to keep that in my mind. I think even now in business, I don't interview. Well, actually, I have an interview coming up, but I don't. I don't go out to interview for jobs, right? Because I'm really focused on growing my own business. But
Mhm.
I still interview. Like today, I just pitched a client. So thinking about that, if that client were to say no, I don't want to work with you. I don't want your services. Well, then how am I continuing to forge that relationships? And that's a really important part of the sales process is of nurturing that relationship, because just because they say no now doesn't mean they won't say no in the future, or just because they don't like this specific offer doesn't mean that they won't accept another offer,
Yeah.
right? And so, and by the way, this client said yes, so I'm really excited
Yay!
about it. Yeah, but
Congratulations.
but you're right. Even if in those situations where a no doesn't necessarily mean it's over, it just
Mhm.
might mean go in a different direction.
Yeah.
And I had this happen before. So I was at Honda and I was applying for roles, and I got this interview with McDonald's. And this is when I was living in California at the time. I was in LA and I really wanted to move back home to Chicago. I was so homesick. I wanted to come back home here. And so I got this wonderful interview opportunity, and I was like, this is perfect. It's in Chicago. It's exactly where I want to be. And I had, everything, all of my heart and soul I put into this interview, and I ended up not getting the opportunity. Well, fast forward a few months down the line, where do we end up? We ended up at Google Cloud, which was a wonderful opportunity at the beginning. So I think, allowing yourself to feel those feelings. And I think also that moment where I didn't get that job, right? And I didn't get the
Mhm.
positive response that I wanted was a motivator and motivating factor for me to go back to the drawing board and really work on my responses and work on my interviewing skills, and to work on and it was also a light for me to say, well, maybe I'm just not ready yet, and maybe there's something that I need to stay where I'm at. I need to learn some new skills so that I can be prepared to take on the roles that I want to take on.
Mhm.
And so that's what I did. I was still for I would say, I want to say it was 2 or 3 years after that where I just said, okay, I'm just gonna chill, I'm not gonna apply, I'm just gonna focus on this role. And then once I got to the level where I felt more confident again to go out, I did. And then that's when I was able to get this opportunity. So everything that you're saying has so much merit. We're here at 52 minutes. And so uh, I want to ask you a final question. Oh,
Mhm.
actually, did you get a chance to guess again?
I feel like at this point I may not get it, but I know it's volcano. Um, I think it's volcano, or yeah, you said it was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it looks like there are many, many volcanoes in Costa Rica.
But you had the top
Um,
5. You had the top 5. You guessed 1. It's not that. So there's 1 out of 4.
who
You have
else? Volcano.
No, not that one.
My goodness.
Next one.
Rincon de la
Nope, nope,
Viata,
not that one.
Arazu volcano.
Yes, yes!
The picture's
I
not
feel
very
like I need to
but
download. I know they have sound effects, and I feel like I definitely need
well,
some sound effects.
I have to say that your picture is so much more beautiful than the one on this website I'm looking at, because this website makes every single one look exactly the same. Um, from your picture, I would definitely visit that volcano.
Oh yeah, and just Costa Rica in general. Some fun facts about Costa Rica. Apparently, it's one of the world's friendliest places, where
Mm.
people are very happy. I believe that. Having been there, it is a very friendly place. And also, here I'm going to rattle off some fun facts about Costa Rica. So there are more than 500,000 species of wildlife here,
Oh.
and 900 of them are birds.
Ooh.
Yeah, they have a lot of birds. When I was in Northern California, I spent a lot of time bird watching, and I have a very tumultuous relationship with birds, because while I love them, um, when it comes to mating season and when they're in like springtime, man. you gotta be careful because they are very territorial.
Well, if I go visit Costa Rica, I will not go during that season then.
Yeah. But no, they're lovely, lovely animals. I saw a what do you call it? An iguana there. It was huge. I was blown away. I hadn't realized that iguanas could get that big. And then this fruit there is the sweetest. It's so sweet. It's so fresh. It's so good. So I definitely encourage you to go. I will definitely put France on my bucket list. And then we will head out. Anything else that you want to share before we close this series? Thanks for coming on, by the way,
Yeah,
being so brave.
that was really fun. I realize now that I really need to go on vacation, maybe to Costa Rica. Um, but nothing. I really enjoyed this Where in the World series that you have. It was really fun, really challenging, honestly. And I think it was just fun talking with you, and really appreciate you seeing me as someone to reach out to and like kick off this series with. So thank you.
Yes, and hopefully we can have you on again in maybe a different capacity,
Yeah.
or down the line after you've gotten into your groove a little bit. We'll
Yes.
ask you some different questions, and we'll meet up in a different space, and we'll see how it goes. Well, thank you so much for being with us, guys. Thank you for watching. You have been joined today by me, Clary, and Rishelle, and we have had such a wonderful opportunity learning about her role in HR, her next big step at Lyra Health, which is incredible. Congratulations. And we'll definitely be keeping in touch with your career journey. All right. Peace for now, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Hi.